A very warm welcome to all of you to the 5th edition of NAREDCO and APREA's Real Estate and Infrastructure Investors Summit 2020 with Anarock as our knowledge partners. I am Neetu Singh, the lead for APREA India chapter, and I shall be your host for this summit. From doing a bustling physical event every year with 400 plus attendees, we have brought this edition to you online with a whopping attendance of more than 450 plus within the safe confines of your home. I would sincerely like to thank the full team at NAREDCO, Anarock, Primus Partners, supported by our sponsors led by State Bank of India, to bring together this mega summit with 40 plus eminent speakers, compelling sessions, intriguing topics, and perspectives from leading economists, private equity, and institutional investors, along with leading developers. Friends, with the pandemic and gloom, we wanted to look ahead, and hence the theme of India Opportunities for the Coming Year. We believe that adversity presents opportunities. Opportunities may have risks, and with risks lie rewards. With that thought, for the investors looking at Indian real estate, and without much ado, I would like to welcome our esteemed guest for the inaugural, Ms. Sigrid Zialcita, CEO of Asia Pacific Real Estate Association. Sigrid has been ably leading APREA and before this served as the Managing Director of Asia Pacific Research for Cushman and Wakefield for many years. Welcome, Sigrid.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Ashok Mohanani ji, the founder of EKTA Group and the new president for NAREDCO West, who will be the guiding light for the coming year and shall be ably leading it. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We are honored to have Shreekant ji, the Chief General Manager at State Bank of India. He is a seasoned banker with 3 decades of banking experience and is presently the country head of Real Estate and Housing Business Unit, the biggest vertical of State Bank of India, with a total exposure of INR 480,000 crores. That's around US $100 billion to the real estate ecosystem. That is indeed a lot of money, sir. We are grateful to have you, Shreekant ji. Do we have Mr. Sabharwal with us yet? Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal is the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Capital Limited. Rajiv ji has over 27 years of experience in the banking and financial services industry. Rajiv ji has served as an Executive Director on the board of ICICI Bank, where he was responsible for several businesses, including retail banking, business banking, rural banking, financial inclusion business, and digital banking technology. Welcome, Rajiv ji. Up next, we have Mr. Hiranandani ji, the National President, NAREDCO, and founder and Managing Director, Hiranandani Group, and Mr. Rajiv Talwar, National Chairman, NAREDCO, and the CEO of DLF Limited. Well, Rajiv ji and Hiranandani ji are veterans of the industry, and like they say, naam hi kafi hai. And just to translate, the name is enough and there is no introduction which is required for them. Last but not the least, Mr. Rajan Bandelkar, Vice Chairman, NAREDCO West and Director, Raunak Group, who has been the guiding force for NAREDCO West. I would like to welcome Sigrid to take this forward.
Thank you so much, Neetu. A very good morning to everyone, and thank you for joining us today at the APREA NAREDCO Real Estate and Infrastructure Investors Summit 2020. We're pleased to partner once again with NAREDCO for this year's summit, which features many of our industry luminaries who will be discussing opportunities for the upcoming year. There's a lot to be optimistic about the Asia-Pacific economy, including India. We are all very grateful that our governments across the region are doing their best to contain the virus. Further, we see a lot of fiscal support in many countries helping to preserve enterprises and household financial conditions. Central banks also have been equally committed to maintaining low rates and financial support for the foreseeable future. Now, for the real assets industry, 2021 is looking to be a better year with a pickup in economic growth, that will sustain further institutionalization in the region. We also expect China to see its first REIT in infrastructure early next year. And these are all setting the pace for other fast-growing markets in the region who are all eager to shore up their REIT sectors. And why is this so? REITs can bring significant positive changes, whether in catalyzing an economic revival from this pandemic, financing urbanization in emerging economies, or fulfilling stock market's aspirations. We're also very fortunate that many of the growth drivers that we have in the region, such as favorable demographics, urbanization, increasing cooperation, structural reforms that promote a favorable regulatory framework, they're all intact. And they'll make sure that the growth in this part of the world remains the fastest in the world and be supportive of the real estate sector. So with that, I hope that you enjoy the program we put together for all of you. Thank you so much. And I'd like to hand this over to Ashok, Mr. Ashok Mohanani.
Thank you, Sigrid, for the accurate and effective data that you just shared with our viewers. A very warm welcome to all our dignitaries, Shreekant ji, CGM, State Bank of India, Rajiv ji, MD, CEO of Tata Capital, Niranjan sir, our national president, Rajiv ji again, Talwar, our national chairman, Rajan, my friend, vice chairman of NAREDCO, and Sigrid, Zialcita, who just spoke to us. NAREDCO as a body with all our members thought it prudent to congregate here for the next 3 days along with APREA and knowledge partners Anarock to discuss Indian real estate infrastructure as well as investment opportunities backed by effective government policies. APREA, who's the leading pan-Asia trade group, has been committed through their human capital and research to give us insight on real estate across borders, funding in the APAC region that includes India as well as investments in the Indian soil. We have with us leading financial partners, State Bank and Tata Capital, where both players have made a sizable contribution in their respective portfolios and have been recognized as the most trusted brands. श्रीनाथ जी, आपके बारे में क्या कहूं? श्रीनाथ जी इस लक्ष्मीपति जिनके पास अद्भुत धन है और हम इतने भाग्यशाली है कि वो हमारे साथ में है, हमारी इंडस्ट्री को सपोर्ट करते हैं. स्टेट बैंक has been very supportive. Thank you, Shreekant ji, for being with us. During these COVID times, Shreekant ji has, given us so much of confidence to all the stakeholders. State Bank has taken initiative of reviving interest in under construction residential projects and extended help to our developers as well as to our customers. Today, you know that we are at the lowest housing loan rates. Thank you for all this that you've done for us. The last mile funding, which is being supported by State Bank, that also Swami funds have been a great help to all of us. Rajiv, who heads Tata Capital, a very dear friend, very accessible, always there to help all developers as well as our retail business. Their customized offering in construction finance, tenure, asset cover, moratorium, and repayment options have been the great achievements that we have seen during the last couple of months and years. The home loan structure has been very encouraging for all ticket sizes, which starts even from a mere 2 lakhs and which goes up to multiple crores. The tenure of the loan, Rajiv, you've given us 30 years, has been really, really very helpful to revive this market. Gratitude to both of you, State Bank as well as Tata Capital, for sharing your mind space with our sector, and we are deeply acknowledge your support. This platform is all set with the minds and moods of all the stakeholders, backed by attitude to look at various opportunities that may ahead of us. The last 3 months has been accelerated by the government reducing the stamp duty to 2% in Mumbai as well as 3% in other areas of Maharashtra, including MMR. which I tell you, my friends, has shown a quantum leap in sales and registrations.
A very warm welcome and a very good morning to all the members who are attending this. We at NAREDCO year on year doing this real estate investment and infrastructure summit. And I would like to mention here, Durga Shankar Mishra was very keen to do this event in Jammu and Kashmir. But I knew this is COVID time, so I would like to mention when Sir is also going to be there on the panel at 12 o'clock today. We kept our word. We did the convention, but we did it online. And here we are requesting also our friends and developers from Jammu and Kashmir to log into this also. So a very warm welcome to all the people who are logged in across India and across globe. This is the 5th edition of NAREDCO and APREA. Here, I know probably you might be thinking in a welcome speech why I am thanking. I want to profusely thank Neetu because she has worked so hard year on year. This event is becoming bigger and bigger, and people literally wait for this event. I would like to also thank Sigrid also to extending their full support and full cooperation. I know at present the industry is going through a bad time because of everybody knows the COVID problem, and for country it's a COVID problem, for our real estate industry it's a liquidity problem. So I think this is the right time to have this summit wherein the doors for financing would be opened. And today, what a panel I am going to have. Two stalwarts from financing industry and two stalwarts from real estate industry. So first, without wasting much time, I would like to ask Shreekant sir. Sir, SBI has done so much. I know SBI is the first one to give effect to the repo rate, what RBI has done it. So my first question is that, sir, in real estate, wholesale lending is witnessing a decline. Banks and NBFCs have reduced their exposure to wholesale lending substantially. No doubt you are giving home loans at a very good pace, and to the people who are buying homes, the sales are also coming up. We would like to understand from you the reason for the same and how do we as a sector overcome this issue. Shreekant sir, over to you.
Thank you, Rajan ji. I think that is a very pertinent question. As we see, the bad times are now over. So now we are going on a up curve, and then if you see the industry, the real estate sector as a whole, there has been a great rebound after the COVID, and that is that even all the stakeholders of this ecosystem, we were not visualizing that it will come so fast. And regarding the liquidity problem of the industry, the new launches are less. Now I think the new launches are going to pick up, and so is the case of providing liquidity by the players. Earlier, the NBFC, HFCs, they were the major source of liquidity for this sector. Now I think the banks are coming to fill that gap, and also the NBFC and HFCs, after the lot of alignment and realignment, some of the big ones, they are also raising funds, and they will be also providing funds to this sector, because funds are very important, and the focus for last few months was and still on is completion of the unfinished project, and also to clear the unsold inventory. So all these have improved the cash flow for the real estate sector, and the big NBFC and HFCs and also bank coming on this platform. I think all put together will provide improve the liquidity. We have launched a recently liquidity support system, scheme for residential real estate. Just 2 months back it has been launched. It is yet to pick up. We are trying to create awareness about this product, and that will also improve the liquidity in the system. But the green shoots are visible all across the country, and the market is real estate market is very bullish. both on the builder finance side and also the retail sales side. So all put together, because all the stakeholders, the government, the regulator, the builders, and the lenders, all of the contributed to this scenario, and the great rebound, I think, in the coming Q4 and thereafter Q1 of next financial year, it will further improve.
Sir, thank you very much. And we want to thank you also for coming up with a new scheme. Only one suggestion, especially in that scheme, you have kept a flat cost limit of 5 crore rupees. If the flat cost is above 5 crores, you don't fund those people. Sir, today see in Mumbai, especially I am talking about Mumbai, unfortunately, whenever governments or any institutions take any decisions, Mumbai is kept out. So Mumbai is a financial capital. So my request is that 5 crore limit you should take it out if you can take it out, because the projects above 5 crore should be very minimal. But those people today, luxury projects need funding, and the projects which are to be completed. So what will happen if we correct our decision now only, probably we will not require a fund like Swami Fund after 5 years. It's a
Definitely,
suggestion.
yeah, we will definitely look at your suggestion. We'll re-examine this scene for Mumbai and other big metros.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have got Niranjan Hiranandani. The way you said that the sales are picking up, Niranjan sir, you are the icon for our industry, and everybody looks at you. Whatever footsteps you follow, at least I can tell you, I follow the footstep of you wherever. So it's easier because I know you have already covered the race, and we can pace our speed also, and we can achieve faster also. Sir, we heard that you have witnessed the great sales in both luxury as well as affordable segment during this COVID time. Everyone is talking about, especially about Hiranandanis are only selling. Everybody is selling, but Hiranandani is selling both luxury as well as affordable. Sir, can you give all the people on the panel a mantra, as well as it would give a security for financer also to fund to luxury segment also. Over to you, Niranjan sir.
Thank you very much, Rajan. Thank you. Lovely to be on the panel along with Mr. Shreekant, Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal, Mr. Rajiv Talwar, Ashok Mohanani, and of course, Aprea. The answer to your question is very simple, Rajan. Let's take the case of 2019, the car industry. In the year 2019, 10,000 or approximately 10,000 BMWs got sold in India. Approximately 9,500 Mercedes Benzes got sold in India, but 1.7 million Maruti Suzukis got sold in India. Now, if I made 99% of my goods into the luxury segment and 10% of it into, or 1% of it in the affordable segment, it's not going to work because the demand is in that segment. So if somebody follows only the Mercedes Benzes or the BMWs in the real estate market, then they have to be a niche player. And if you're a niche player in that market, then your quantity is going to be small and you have to work accordingly. What we really need to understand is that the big play in the new market is going to be study of the market, understanding where the demand is coming from, what is the affordability of that segment, what is the price range within which they are going to have it, what is the new effect of the work from home, and what is the quantity and sizes of apartments. In short, please don't copy somebody else and don't follow blindly, but you have to do your own market research, your market study. Today, when Hindustan Unilever comes into the market and introduces a new soap, they do a huge amount of study. Do the developers make a similar study when they are starting projects where they are investing 100 crores of rupees? The answer is they normally follow somebody else who's in the neighborhood. And I think that's the mistake we make. So what we really need to do is do a proper research into the whole market, maybe consult the financial institutions where the demand is, because they are constantly giving home loans, so they know where the market is going in that particular market segment, and probably do the needful. So yes, I would copy the good qualities of the neighbor and other people, but I wouldn't follow them blindly because each person has its own market.
Thank you, sir. But many of the people like to follow you blindly. I know you have told them you don't follow blindly and don't blame you after if they follow you blindly. Sir, we have very charming personality, Raju Sabharwal. Everyone knows Raju Sabharwal from each and every developer practically knows Raju Sabharwal in person, and Raju Sabharwal also knows all the developer in person. Sir, I'm going to ask you a very tricky questions. I know you'd like to bash me up for that, but still, because industry is going through a problem. Sir, we have seen in the last decade, especially NBFCs, were giving ample money to the developer. I use the word ample. Rather, why I'm telling you ample, they were giving more than required money. When really developers were not needing that money. But today developers are doing well. See, everybody is telling, every newspaper is telling, government has done stamp duty reduction. We have seen the sales have gone up, especially in Mumbai. In last 2 months, the sales have gone up by 300%. But today, especially even if I ask you, pardon me for saying that, you people are also not started your lending. So where and what, how the industry is going to come out of it? And real estate industry is giving a major booster to GDP. There are more than 300 industries are depending on this industry. So why it is so that when we don't need money, you give us money, and when we need money, you don't give us money? Why?
Yeah, thank you, Rajan, and I'll try to answer this question to the best of my ability. First of all, I think when we look at any sector, if we want growth in that sector, we have to look at that complete sector. We can't say that we are interested in financing houses. We want more people to own houses, but we are not interested in financing people who make those houses happen. So I think as an industry, we all have to look at how we can provide comprehensive funding, not only to the developers, but also to the suppliers of those developers, and finally to the customers who need houses. Only when enough financial support is there to all the ecosystem members that you will see the industry growing. So that's essential, that's given. I think what happens in any industry, whether it is this or any other industry, you will find that when the going goes tough, people become more conservative, and there is always a lag between when the markets start improving and more funding starts happening. We all wish that it happens, it precedes it, but it usually comes with a lag. So we have seen markets improving, and already we are seeing more and more people wanting to finance these projects. As Niranjan Bhai had said, more of the funding will come to those projects which have more velocity of sales. So it's natural, and we will see this. In fact, whether it's people like us or SBI, I don't think so anybody has stopped funding, or I think if some people go conservative a little bit and become more selective, but that also changes when they see changes happening. So there is no taking away from the fact that if the industry has to grow, everybody has to find finances available to them. Then only can the ecosystem grow. Otherwise, if the chain breaks somewhere, then we will not have the final output to the customers.
And sorry for asking you this question. I know, but you have answered it very well, sir. But once again, a folded hand request to you that we are trying to become good boys. So have trust and faith in us. And NAREDCO is there to bridge the gap between or mediate wherever it is required. We will also, and people have learned from.
So Rajan, I would only say that in my experience of over 20 years in real estate industry, if there is one sector where, in my experience, I have lost the least amount of money, it is in this sector. So I think it is the most best performing sector because the security is real and it appreciates with time. Very few asset classes are such where there is real security which appreciates with time. So that is what helps. But there will always be some challenges in some parts of the industry, which is true for any industry. It is not particular for this industry. So with that perspective, I would only say that there is a desire for everyone I can't say for everyone, but us and some of the leading players to finance, and they are financing. And it will also keep improving with time. But it is also a function of, the nature of products which you create in the market. Today, if you want to create more of commercial or retail, it is tough to find because there is uncertainty about that market. But if it is affordable housing, if it is residential for the masses, there will be ample funding available.
Raju Talwar, sir has said one thing, there is uncertainty into commercial. So I would like to come to you because DLF is one of the biggest name in the country, and you people have recently come up in the world this thing also stock exchange. So congratulations for that also.
Thank you.
And sir, during this COVID crisis lockdown, many organizations resorted to work from home. What is your view on work from home and its impact on commercial sector, sir, and way forward for commercial sector?
Thank you, Rajan bhai, and welcome to, of course, Niranjan bhai, Ashok, Mohanani ji, Shreekant ji, who I think I owe a special. I began my career with the SBI when he was probably studying in school, 1976. So today he's the leader of the world of finance when it comes to housing and real estate. And Rajiv Sabharwal is a doyen of the industry, finance industry. His worth and his work in the ICICI are so well known that maybe Tatas have a huge expectation from him. And I would love to say that, yes, today there is a reality that people, for purely safety reasons and for social distancing reasons, work in both from home as well as offices. As you know, the safety distances within offices have increased, safety precautions have increased, regular checking of RT-PCR in offices has increased, and therefore there is plenty of room to work from home, and there is plenty of room to work in offices and the growth of offices. In fact, I was about to say that we are very grateful to investors for the huge investments in REITs, leased buildings, and making this sector just next to RIL Retail, which has received tremendous funding, and RIL Geo, and then Pharma, and I think it's next to that is real estate. Because Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal said very correctly that these are genuine assets being backed by money. And the truth is that the least amount of NPAs come from home loans. Because in India, people would rather mortgage their wife's gold rather than go bad on a loan. And as far as real estate, commercial leasing is concerned, I would like to pay not only my due and credit to the government of India for the massive funding going on for affordable housing, but also to RBI. I think this governor RBI has set the ball rolling about the time since he joined, and the kind of changes which have made possible to banks, to NBFCs, to housing finance companies is purely due to his initiative. My first thanks goes to the State Bank of India. I am sure that all of you have received the news that yes, a huge loan was given by the SBI at 2,400 crores for construction finance in real estate, commercial real estate at 7.35%, followed by another 2,600 from Bank of Baroda. So I think, and another 2,500 from on the Heinz joint venture. So I think there is a great amount of funding coming in with huge returns. And I would love to say that not only Mr. Dinesh Khara, we would like to congratulate him on taking over the post and living in that iconic house called Dunedin on Malabar Hill, but the institution and the building of SBI, the 18-story building of SBI at the Nariman Point, these are two landmarks which hold a great promise for India. I would like to thank Anarock and Anuj, who are great supporters of this industry. He's made a career out of that. And of course, just remind Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal that from ICICI, which is an iconic institution built up in independent India, he has stepped onto Tatas. Tatas need no introduction in the world what to say of India. And anyone who's a leader in the group of Tatas, I would like to remind him that there was a time 30 years ago, only 30 years ago. I don't even know if Mr. Sabharwal would remember the name of Mr. F.C. Kohli, who began TCS. Today, it is the company which has a 10 lakh crore market cap. And that is the TCS of today. We would love to see that if $1 trillion worth of investment has to come into all parts of real estate, housing and construction, why will Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal not be the future Mr. Chandrasekhar? He would be one day leading the Tata group because there is so much of money to be made. Which are the best examples? China and USA. Nobody in China says anything of COVID today. Where are all the houses? Everyone who had a house has not gone away from their towns. They've not gone away from their tier 1, 2, 3, 4 towns, what to say of big cities. So I think we need to make that come true. Mr. Hardeep Puri, as you know, and Durga Shankarji, they have led a huge program for affordable housing, 1 crore 12 lakh houses. You know, the need is 5 crore to 6 crore homes. I think the state of Maharashtra undoubtedly has set the ball rolling many, many years ago. SRA schemes should be made easier. They should be made much more implementable and easy to go through with one clearance. Single digital clearance, let it go through. I can tell you whether it is Niranjanji's group, whether it is the other group of Rahijas, whether it is Shapurji Palanji, including DLF. We alone have made 2,100 crore patis free of cost in Tulsiwadi. In Delhi, it has been another few thousand. In Gurgaon, I would only like to say that affordable housing is something which all these multinational institutions and financial institutions need to look at because they're looking at, believe me, in the first budget of Mr. Arun Jaitley and this government, REITs were introduced. It took us 3 years to do policy tweaking. Similarly, we need to get these funds to come in and make affordable housing on government land, on defense land, on PSU land, on slum lands. We need many changes in policy and there to expect lower returns also.
Yes,
because
sir.
the volumes are so great.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much. I know the Pune example has been great. Your revenues have increased and multiplied as much when the duty was 6%, and even when the customer has to pay 0, the collection is the same. So I think we have a great future in real estate, housing and construction, and I wish the best for such summits. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we are running out of the time. So I would like to come to Shreekant, sir. Sir, the real estate sector has witnessed record retail loans sanctions in the month of October. So I would like you to highlight SBI is always a forefront in bringing all these reforms. So I would like you to please share initiatives taken by SBI during COVID and to come out of this pandemic.
Yeah, thank you, Rajan ji. As you know, our focus always is in the affordable housing segment, especially the PMAY CLSS and also the mid-market segment. For the metros, we targeted for 75 lakhs to 3 crores, and for other centers, 75 lakhs to 2 crores. And these two segments, the affordable and the mid segment, these two have given us very good growth in all these markets. And as you know, recently the finance minister has also announced some tax relaxation up to 2 crores. So that is going to add further value to our initiative in this segment. The uptick is mainly due to the economy and business opening up speedily, the sizable interest reduction offered by all banks, and stamp duty concessions given by some of the states, and other government initiatives taken by Government of India to support real estate sector revival. Here I must salute the effort of the NAREDCO. After the stamp duty cut, all the builders from NAREDCO, you are sharing that cost also, and that is going a very good uptick for the Mumbai market. Yesterday I was just watching the TV, and there some data were given. The last few weeks have shown registration close to 11 lakhs plus, and that has generated a revenue of 8,000 crore plus for the government. I think these are the best example for the other governments to emulate and go forward. So going forward, we see that the green shoots are available all across the country. Maybe due to the COVID, Delhi NCR and some other Ahmedabad market, they are a little subdued. But the southern market, western market, and northern market all are showing good uptick. So that will continue, and all the players are we are committed to see the revival of this industry, because as you said in the beginning, many industries or entire Indian economy is banking on the real estate sector. So we will work accordingly.
Thank you, sir. Raju Sabharwal, sir. RBI has announced one-time restructuring loans, but I think it's on the paper. So I would like you to highlight your views on that, as well as in your recent interview, you mentioned that things have improved considerably in housing sector since lockdown. I'd request you to please share your experience regarding revival of housing sector and your views and guidance for the developer as well as financial institution in future.
Rajan, you're right. There is a clear revival, and let me tell you, this is very unlike what we thought it will be. When the lockdown started, I think so everybody was worried. People were all saying that real estate has been through a tough time, and it may go through a worse time. But I think there are a number of factors which have helped this whole thing. It's like that everybody has conspired to make this real estate sector start doing well. First, we had more liquidity being available in the system. Second, we had interest rates coming down in the system. Third, we saw the transaction costs going down with the state government bringing down stamp duties. Fourth, I think the developers themselves also did a bit, not only in NAREDCO developers sharing and the stamp duty burden, but also ensuring that good prices are offered to customers. Besides this, I think the individuals, the people who are buying homes, also felt that they need a safe place, they need a bigger place, they need office at their home. Plus, the companies were probably also giving incentives so that they can set up offices at home. So a combination of all of this has led to a situation where the market has revived. I think what is very important at this point of time to ensure that this revival continues. It does not falter and it does not remain a festive period thing. I think one thing is certain, that we are going to see surplus liquidity for a fairly long period of time. I also feel that the regulator is committed to keeping interest rates low, so that will be there. I'm sure you must be state government to continue this lower stamp duty for a longer period of time. And if we see more supplies coming in the right asset class, then I don't feel there is a problem. This whole chain will continue. So I feel these are good times, and we should work towards ensuring that these times continue.
Thank you, sir. But you have avoided my question of one-time restructuring.
Okay. Yeah. Coming to one-time restructuring. So actually, maybe I am trying to I missed that out, because we hardly need to do this. I emphasized earlier that when I was telling Rajiv ji that it is not only the retail customers where we have had the least NPS, but also funding to developers also in real estate has given us the least NPS. So to that extent, we hardly have any customers or any relationships or projects where we need to restructure. So restructuring is not on our agenda, because everybody is paying, so we don't need to do it. But to talk about the industry, I think this is something good. I always believe that restructuring should be available at any point of time to anyone, because anyone can get into a problem as long as you have sufficient security and your ability to repay the loan. Restructuring should be made possible because ultimately we want assets to get delivered and more developers to be there in the market and not anything else.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And we are very proud to listen that Tata doesn't require doing restructuring. So all the builders should learn from Tata कि बाबा पैसे लिए तो project में वापरो, और all the financial institution also should see to it that they maintain proper. Thank you, sir. I would like to ask a last question because Ashok, we are running out of time. Real estate sector is going through a liquidity crunch. What is your suggestion, especially to financial institution, to help developer overcome this? Be brief, Ashok.
So very quickly, Rajan, we need that last mile funding. That's very, very critical. Okay, we are grateful over the Swami funds, but having said that, it's not very easy to get the last mile funding. So there's something should be done. Instead of insisting on first charge, if we can work out a pari passu charge or something like that side, we are perfectly okay, Rajiv ji and Shreekant ji, that if you want to have last in first out, we are perfectly okay, because that will give a level playing field for both the stakeholders. The second thing I would suggest, I would request you, is to have some inventory funding, to look at more of inventory funding, wherein the developers also can utilize this money for completion. The money should be fungible, because if I've got two projects in the same company, Rajiv, and then sometimes you don't allow that to happen. So if that can be done, if money is fungible, because the core thought is to complete the project. As you said that you got the least NPAs in real estate. So therefore, our humble request is that if you can look at money being fungible, it'll be very nice. Also, please look at having a lower cover, because this is a time we need you to hold our hands. We need that you should support us so that we can take this the dream of completing our projects fruitful. So these are the major things that we would request you to look at. Very minor, but please look at these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok. So we also, the way we want to finish this session in time, and we would like to deliver also on time. So thank you very much to entire panel, Shreekant ji, Raju Sabharwal, Niranjan, Raju Talwar, and Ashok Mohanani. And it shows me time's up. So over to Nitu. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all esteemed guests. That was a frank exchange of perspectives and opinions. We will just take a short break before we join for our much awaited inaugural panel session on understanding the play of private equity and institutional investors' appetite for Indian commercial real estate. While the entire real estate is shaken up by the pandemic, we are projecting the opportunities for Indian real estate that can offer a market size of US dollars 1 trillion by 2030. Let us hear after the break.